got a question, the voices of resin are here. Ooh, Plastchicks.
Plastchicks is an SPE sponsored podcast.
Hey girl, hey.
Oh, hey, look at us doing big time stuff.
Under the lights.
We have fancy chairs. Normally I'm in half pajamas. I'm in a full suit.
Now, the audience can't see this, but we are in a penalty booth style, except for the one wall.
But we have been told it's not a penalty box. It is called the sin bin by
The
those
sin
in
bin.
the know. Which feels a little aggressive for what we're doing here today. But
So much.
but I'm just saying, extra knowledge.
So I'm Mercedes Landazuri,
And I'm Lindsay Neville.
and with our powers combined, we are
Plastchicks.
the voices of resin.
And we are here on our second special
That was
episode.
like Tuesday.
Nope, I can't think of days. But we are at NPE 2024.
Orlando, Florida. Florida.
It is. Oh, let's not even get Taylor into this because we're just going to go off on a tangent.
Yeah, it's 31 songs. We don't have the time today, folks. We haven't got it.
But we could have the time for
We
it.
could. In fact, one of our videographers here is wearing a Swift hat. Don't think it's related.
But we're going to pretend.
Of course, it was the first thing we thought of.
Obviously.
Yeah.
There is no other life than T-Swift life. But there is a life in plastics.
Such a life in plastics. Don't we know it?
And that is why we have brought on, I say this about a lot of people. And this is a good thing.
Yeah.
So I saw like a cringe. But
Microaggression.
oh no.
Only too well.
But Leslie Sonne is one of the most fun human beings you could possibly be around in this entire world.
And you told me this like right before I met her. Well,
Yeah.
I'll get into that in a minute. Let's finish introducing
So
her.
she is the Senior Business Development Manager for Star Thermoplastics, and she has graciously decided to come on our show today. Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you. Thank you for
so
having me.
much
This
for
is
joining
exciting.
us. Star Thermoplastics, a Hexpol TPE company.
That's correct.
It's the full version.
The full shebang.
That's
we got
correct.
it now.
Yeah. So I wanted to. So actually, we got an email on Monday, the very first day, opening day of NPE, that we were celebrating our fifth anniversary of the podcast.
Right.
But
Happy birthday to us.
Well, yeah, but actually, we started it right after New Year's. 5 months ago, right?
Right.
Or 4 months ago. And maybe a little before, because they're planning going into that. And that's actually when I met you for the first time. And Lindsay gave that preface of like, she's the best, like most fun person that you'll ever meet. And I was like, but I thought that was me.
And I'm like, no, learn your place. You are number 2.
So I drove out to Erie in the beginning of January.
Which was smart thinking.
To record our very first couple episodes, which have never aired. Someday maybe
They're
we'll
in the
release
vault,
them. Yeah.
much like Taylor Swift.
And
Shake it out.
You were also, so we went to her old place of work, and you were a supplier to her at that time, and she was like, oh, you're gonna love her, like she was so excited. And you know, a lot of times I feel like, you know, that's a pretty big build up.
That's a big bar.
You know, it could be a pretty big letdown, but no, it was right. It was
and
true.
I probably
It was true.
undersold it, if I'm being honest. Listen, anytime I knew that I was going to have to interact with you, it was like a great day. Even if I was like, hey, I messed up, I need twice as much material for half the lead time, it was still a good interaction.
That's right. And as long as you provided me with a friendly hashtag, you know
I
what?
did. I always
we were
provided
okay. And it became
It
our
was
thing.
like, whoops, let's blame someone else. Whoops, not my bad. Whoops, probably was my bad.
whoops, you get to more. You can make more anyway, so everything
Exactly.
will be
You
fine.
can make
That's right.
deal with it.
Work it out.
And I also want it for the same price, even though I'm making you do a second batch. Thanks, bye.
Whoops.
Oh, memories.
It's good times. So Leslie, give us the scoop on you, who you are, how you got into the industry,
Sure.
and what you do now, and why we love you.
So it's
very
interesting.
complicated.
You know, I started out, I was, of course, in the hospitality business, which is a really just wonderful way to say I was a bartender for a long time.
But that may be the biggest reason why we do love you. That we just get that essence of bar
I think
around you,
so.
and we're drawn to it.
And if you think about what it is that draws you to a bar, the drinks are all the same, but you want someone that's going to be personable.
Right. That's
The
true.
worst thing is to get a poor bartender. I'm talking to you. So I think from there, I was also always an office manager for demolition and construction, which now that I think about it was still kind of customer service sales role, if you will, you have to work with neighborhood planning, permitting, and legals, and a smiley face and kind gestures is going to get things done faster. I've always enjoyed working with people. So with that, it was
never
time.
Said that. Just kidding. Some people.
Well,
you love working with Leslie. What are you talking
I know. That's why I mean.
And that's what I try to do. I want to be that one where it's, oh, I got to call. I want someone to think, hey, I get to talk to Leslie today.
Right.
So with that, I was looking for kind of a different route. I was ready to move on. And I had originally applied for STAR to be an executive assistant. After my lengthy interview process, they had opened up a marketing coordinator position for me. So I was doing that, but I didn't have much of a background or education in marketing.
They created a new role for you. I don't
Correct.
think I knew
I
this.
feel like
Correct.
I didn't know this, but that makes perfect sense, because if I had Leslie come into my business, I would be like, this is a hypothetical business that I don't actually.
How do we get this woman in here?
I'm keeping it forever.
Soul.
She's the biggest knees. And I'd probably be weirder. And then you'd be like, I don't want this job.
But we don't want. You aren't that old that people would be having old radio voice. But
No.
yeah.
No, but I mean, why not? Hey, young lady, you always want to do it. That's right.
So how long have you been at Star now?
I have been there 13 years.
13.
So I quickly moved from the marketing role to more of a project coordination role involved with sales, heavy involvement with my sales team. And, I was blessed with almost total recall for memory, and numbers, names, projects, what we were working on, it became second nature to me.
Wow.
I honestly started to know some of the projects better than the salespeople. Now, nothing against those salespeople at all.
Right.
I
They
think
just
it was
have
just
a leaky
communication.
brain. I get it.
Yeah.
I've worked with someone though before who had photographic memory, and it's put her. I mean, she didn't come from a technical background, but knew the technical knowledge, but very quickly in the back of her hand.
And it was extremely exciting for me. So a lot of our TPE, our codes, they're numerical codes. We have some product lines, and I just remembered all those codes. And to be able to pick that up and have the memory to bring it back, it was just a matter of time before, of course, I should be in sales. And I really, really enjoy working with people. And honestly, people think, God, you're such a phony. No, I'm not. I really do prefer.
I was going to say,
joy.
You don't strike me as a phony, because I feel like I have seen you and heard you say some very straightforward things that a phoney would not utter.
Even without a hashtag.
Yes. Without the blessing
Real
of a
talk.
hashtag. Real talk. Hashtag real talk.
And we both are in the Chicago area, but we never see each other in Chicago. We always see each other when we're
Correct.
traveling. Are you from Chicago originally?
Yes, so I was born and raised south side of Chicago.
Southside. Go Sox.
That's right. I haven't seen a game. I couldn't tell you a player, but go Sox.
Well, if you saw those pictures on the internet the other day of that were going around, I don't think anybody's seen Sox games
Sad
these days.
Sox.
Anyway,
We're moving on.
Hashtag sad socks.
So yes, so I'm still there. Recently, with my expertise and the advancement, the knowledge that I've been able to just absorb, I am now the West Coast business manager.
They gave you
which
a whole
is
coast.
really exciting.
I love that.
I've had my eye on it for quite some time.
Wow.
So I've recently taken on that position. I will be remaining in the Chicagoland area for now. I like to stay close to headquarters and help out with all the changes and the growth. But yeah, I will be traveling only to the West Coast now, California. I get to see all my customers out there.
I want to be excited for you, but that also means you're not in Erie
in January.
to visit me.
That's correct.
Which is a hot spot destination, in case you're wondering.
I am telling you, you can hardly book anything there. You can't even fly.
So
in.
many people clamoring.
It's the coolest place to be.
Well,
It is.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you so much. I do appreciate it, and we do work together. We're quite a team. So as we transfer our customers from one to another, I let them know I'm still here to help. I'm just an email or a phone call away.
Just so you know, I have moved on to a different company that no longer I would be sourcing anything from you. But if I were in that position, I would still require that you be the person I email.
And I would be okay with
refuse
that.
to email someone else. I would just be like a dog that is done with its walk. I will sit down and you will carry me.
That's right. And it's fine by me, and that's the way I look at it. You need me?
I
I'm
like
there.
that.
So let's talk about Hexpol's recent acquisition of Star. I think I had reached out to you about maybe something about TPU, and you were like, "Oh, well, actually," right?
That's correct.
And I was like, "Oh, well, you're going to be at NPE? Yes, sweet. Would love to connect with you there." But can you? And you had mentioned the acquisition.
Mhm.
So can you talk about how this move is shaping the company, the future of the
Sure,
company?
sure. And you know what I'm really enjoying about it, what I've seen so far is, Hexpol has been around for a long time. They are out of Europe. We have locations in Sweden, Germany, UK, and China. So I'm really enjoying getting to know some of my other coworkers, meeting them and working with them. What it's allowing for us now that we are the US suppliers, it's giving a foothold just throughout the world, which has been great. And getting to know them, working with them, working on new projects. And I think the combination of all of us together leads to just a more streamlined and advanced, it gives us a better position and more speed into market with some of our projects. So it's been really exciting. We have, I think, combined well over 60,000 compounds to choose
Dang.
from.
Wow.
And, of course, they're all
So-
out there.
Do you know all 60,000 codes?
Not yet. I think
You're
the
close.
last
You're at like
It's a lot more
50,
new, or you're like,
52,000.
yeah,
Let's want a break.
let's say about
I need to know. I need to
52,800.
know speed to market of Leslie.
That is correct. Yeah. So working on those together, then we find out some may be the same, but what are the qualities that each one has, and how will it best fit our customers? Fitness for use is really important in TPEs. So I've been having a really great time with this expansion.
Wonderful.
So now that you're, the products that you're doing are no longer just like US based products that like you're all American TPEs and TPUs. What are some of the trends you're seeing now that you have like a whole global influence?
Sure, that's a great question.
Sleek,
Sleek.
classy, like cigarette smoking, like TPEs and TPUs.
Yes, those are my favorite.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They're
We like
so
the ones.
chic.
So chic.
Those Euro TPEs
Kids
and TPUs.
don't smoke.
I mean, if you're not trending, really, what are you doing in your life? So
Honestly,
how do we stay above that?
Where's your hashtag? Where are you trending?
That's right. That's right. So in the world of TPEs, what we're seeing more and more is how can we fit into what the customer needs? So some of the things I look at when I'm opening a new project with a customer or just talking to them about their needs is, what does your application need to do? For instance, is it medical? And if so, what levels do you need to meet with that? What type of testing will it come under? If it's automotive, tier 1 suppliers, there's VOC limitations and what needs to be in the material. This also helps us determine how we work with our raw material suppliers and what raw materials we use to put into our products. If, for example, you can have like a 60A black TPE, which is a kind of almost squishy feel, and one of them, you can have 3 altogether. One can be for a car mat, the other can be for a bike grip, and the third can be for a syringe tip for medical. And while they may look the same, under a microscope or under testing, they're going to turn out to be completely different, and they're going to function differently as well.
Yes.
And it's amazing. There's also something as simple as, are you injection molding or are you extruding? Because from there, we also have to formulate them in a different way so that they work for our customers. And in doing that, we like to say that we are problem solvers. We're not just resin sellers. We like to get to know our customers. We build that relationship to help them solve an overall problem, and not just open a book with, here's your products, this is the price, which one would you like? Please pick, drive through, have a nice day. We want more than that.
Literally why I dumped someone on you the other day. And I say dump in a loving term because I wanted them to get the right answer. But I was like, I don't know. I'm like, go talk to Leslie.
Right. And what's great about that is I do my best to try to supply the answers. If I notice that I'm faltering in any way or I can see that proverbial mirror in front of my face. I'm like, you're babbling idiot. Stop it. You do not know what you're talking
And
about
then you
any
have
longer.
total recall and you remember that face like when you're trying to sleep at night.
That's right.
It wakes you up in a horror.
Exactly. So with that, that's why I say we work together on a lot of things, because I'll reach out to my colleague, Dr. Prakash Sanjavaya, and we'll work together on things. And I'll say, hey, here's the situation. This is what they need to do. And he'll jump right on with me, whether it's a conference call with the customer or an in-person meet, to really make sure we understand what they need.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing we want to do is continuously throw samples over the fence and just hope they work.
Mm-hmm.
We want to dial that in. And I think in doing that, you know, there's TPE companies out there everywhere. Competition is never going to stop. So how do we try to stand out is just, we want them to remember not only our TPEs, but me.
Leslie. Well, and you know, like, it's funny because when I was using a lot more TPEs, I would like to say I know about TPEs because I use them, but I feel like I just almost outsourced it completely to you, where it was like, my brain doesn't need that information.
Sure.
Leslie's got it. It's
Sure.
fine.
And that's the beauty of this industry, right? So much of the time, you know, when I was technical director, it was like I was constantly leaning on my really, you know, good suppliers. My best suppliers were the ones who had the most knowledge, not necessarily the ones who had well, okay, I was technical director, so I didn't care as much about the prices as purchasing
Sometimes
did.
you have to care about price, Mercedes.
But there was so much value add with the knowledge that they brought, and I learned so much from
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
And I say this, and I really mean it. I think I learn something still every day. And I know that I'm not even close to having all of the knowledge that someone like Prakash has.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously that's why we have different jobs, but I think in sales, you don't have to know everything, but you sure should have a pretty good understanding on what it is that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to have that a base level, if you will, that I can hold my own and know when I have to reach out for help, and to know that we have that help right at our fingertips. And now more and more with Hexball, it makes me happy. And I was told that happy people sell.
Oh, look at that. I would not be a good saleswoman.
Yes, you would.
I am
I
angry.
do hate.
You know, it's not easy. I mean, of course, if I can touch on, you know, we know that the market, as well as the world, inflation, where we are financially and what's happening economically, it can be tough. And that's probably my least favorite part, is when we do have to talk about pricing. If it was up to me, I just want to give decreases.
You just want this? Let's just give this to you.
I
You
want to
look-
give this to you.
You have a face that deserves TPE by the Gaylord.
That's right. That's right. So that is probably the worst part. But, you know, even with that, you just have to put it out there, work with your customers, and find the best
And
way
I
to get it
think
done.
most people of being of sound mind understand that that is a reasonable ask. It's not fun,
Right.
but I will also cry out to the sky when it's like my electric bill or my heating bill, because I know we don't like to swear on this, but also it is bullshit.
And that's the truth. That's all you can say
Just saying.
about it.
So when we met, a company that Lindsay was working for was doing a lot of, and I think maybe this is why you guys were linked up, a lot of dog toy
My favorite.
projects. So I bought some. They're excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I took many and they were excellent. They were all scrap. I didn't take the good ones.
But so you know, working with TPEs, it's and other like squishy, friendly materials, you get to work on a wider than average range of products. You'd mentioned medical as well. Can you tell us more about some of these different types of projects and products, and which ones bring you the most joy, which
Sure.
ones bring you the most unjoy?
Unjoy.
Sure. So obviously, I mean, dog toys and any pet products really I enjoy. And I think it's because it's one of the first markets. It was one of the first trade shows that I went to here in Orlando, and
really?
like Global Pet. And it's just fantastic. So that's the customers I started to meet, one of the first projects I took on myself. And what's interesting about it, you know, is these are for your pets, but truly we're selling to the people. You know,
100%.
unless you're really cool and you bring your dog into Petco and you let them pick that toy, then you're the best. But honestly,
Then odds are
it's you.
that Starbucks cup is for you.
That's right.
Because you're
So-
basic and we love it.
right? So, and with that, you know, and when you're working with these customers, of course, they want the best toy. They want the most unique, the design, the shape. And, oh, and by the way, I want it to last forever, but I want everybody to buy all of them. So in conversations as well, you really have to build the understanding of what do you want these products to do? You know, and how do you sell them? If you are a dog toy company and you're making a part, what we suggest a lot is describe the best you can on your packaging or your delivery what it's meant for. If you're making a tug toy, just mention on there that this is for tugging, and if it's left with the animal and they chew on it, they're going to tear it apart. It doesn't matter what type of material it is. And with TPEs, of course, in the world of polymers, as we learn, there's different additives, there's different magic, I like to call it, that you put in these materials that will help with strength. But it's not only the resin, the TPE resin that's going to help you, it's your design. So that opens up the doors. We were speaking a little earlier about what is your design? What are you looking for? And how do you want it to react? So if you do have a serious chewer at home, you know, he just has to be gnawing on
Dog
something.
or child.
That is true. That's very true.
My
Same
children
products.
do use. It's fine.
But yeah, you know, if you want them to just stop eating your couch, then you're going to want to design a thicker product with more material so that it has more rebound. It's certain things like that. And different, you know, now with animals, we know that we love them like our children. So it's always fun to say that they actually are FDA compliant. These materials are safe. They're lead free. They're BPA free.
There are 4 Nebel children that have tested a lot of this product and can vouch for the safety. So far, we're going on 6. So
There you go. There you go. And with that, a second one would be children's toys and products for infants. We have another customer that works with mama and baby and makes products just so that they have a better bond or it's easier for the mom. And it honestly is, it gets a laugh every time, but it really is true. They're the same materials. Luckily we have product names so that I'm not saying, you know, your 9-month-old will be safe with our Star Pet 8040. You know, so we let them know. We'll just kind of change that, put a number on it.
And I kind of liked that better when people would be like, "Is that a dog toy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's literally the same thing. It's
FDA
fine."
compliant.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Like if it wasn't FDA compliant, okay, I'm not that type of mom,
Right.
but I knew the materials were safe, so I'm like,
Yeah, you
it's fine.
literally did. Yeah.
And I mean, if you're making a teething ring for your child, what better than what I'm telling you a Rottweiler chewed on for 5 days,
Right, and didn't break through.
you know?
Yeah, and we're not talking the used version. Though.
We're not talking
Well,
the
no.
theoretically fresh. We don't have a pet, so ours is fresh.
Really? Oh, your cat. You have one cat left, don't you?
Yeah, just one. R.I.P. Ralph.
Oh man.
Oh, Rip Ralph.
Rip Ralph.
I'm so sorry to hear
Sorry
about Ralph.
Sorry to
her
bring
down.
us down. But it's okay. We
Yeah.
still have Richard. He's alive and well.
Insert womp womp.
That's the real jerk of a cat that always kept pushing my
Yeah,
paw
Ralph,
off the
Ralph
table.
was kind of a dick.
Yeah.
So those are some of the most fun that I have. I'm learning more and more about medical. I've noticed
She's a real tricky lady.
and it's really quite a market that you want to have a full understanding. I would feel that right now, if I were to walk into a medical meeting that was of importance, I would just, I don't know
A little glitch.
Like a little twitch. Earthquake.
Autoclave your what? I just,
Excuse you?
who's sterile?
Camel sterilization? Is that a sorority?
How
or
dare you.
fraternity?
And isn't that what turned him into the Hulk? Isn't it?
I think we should stay away from that.
So I'm learning more about medical all the time. But it really is exciting in the world of TPEs because there are a lot of materials they're getting away from that, you know, they used in the past just because they always did. But now it's important to know that there's better answers out there, better for the environment and better for the health of people. And so I enjoy seeing that as well. TPEs in gel is really interesting to me. They're so soft that they do feel like gel.
Oh, wow.
And
Which was actually my first job, was a lot of gel TPEs.
Really?
was
I've never
it?
worked with those.
Did we talk about this before?
We did, because I had conversations with some of your colleagues.
That is correct. That's right. I remember. But
Total
yes,
Recall's kicking in.
That's
We're
right.
kicking in.
We're back.
it was clear. It was squishy. Got it. So yeah, but those are a lot of fun as well. And I think really because of the clarity and the softness and the fact that Star Thermal Plastics pelletized an injection moldable material at a 3A hardness. So that's
3A.
Wild.
and it's technically in the double aught. It's I think don't quote me, but I think it's like a 47 to a 50 double aught. And we've pelletized it. We could sell it, and they can injection mold it. I doubt it can extrude.
I want to play with the pellet.
I'll send you
I
some.
want to injection mold it.
Absolutely.
I mean, how wild would that be to actually pull that out of your press? I mean, I have done similar stuff, but like,
Yeah, it's really neat. And I mean, you can imagine it runs like water.
Yeah.
So for some, obviously, most molders haven't had any issues with it. They haven't called and said, I don't know how you make this into anything, but we're there to help if they do have that problem.
and not to go down the rabbit hole, but like the residence time on that, like, are you?
Oh, let's go down that
Let's
rabbit
go
hole.
down the rabbit.
Because you said it runs like water. I'm like, how do how
You
how
just
could-
you just throw it in the
like
hopper and
super
like
slow screw speed. Like, what do you?
I
you
think
hand
what
deliver
comes
it?
into play now, not being an injection molded professional, but I think what it is it's really your cooling time that
Okay.
you want to have. And sometimes that means either you have a mold that's chilled that will cool it itself, or you want to get it out of there as soon as possible. And that's something with dog toys as well that you may know. The thicker they are, you want to get them out of that mold. You want to get them in cold water so that they settle. But yeah, and the clarity of them, they're just beautiful parts, fun things. And it can be used for overmold as well, which is fun.
You did some of that.
The
before.
overmolding world
Done
is
that.
quite exciting, and you can make some really fun parts.
I will say there is something very satisfying about. I want to go on and say for the record, I'm a great injection mold processor, but there is something satisfying about getting any sort of like TPU stuck and then pulling it out, and when it just like pops out, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's like, it's like peeling. Okay,
Yeah.
this when you
Elmer's
get the
glue.
glue on your fingers and then
It's
you peel it off.
Maybe I did that Saturday. What?
I don't know. What was your Saturday like? I don't know.
I had a lot going on. I call it it was my own manicure, if you will.
There you go.
But and I
Full
did
exfoliation.
learn with injection molding machines, having that issue with having them stuck, it was a quick way to find out brass tools on molding
Yes.
machines.
Brass tools.
Nothing else. You'll scratch the actual mold if you just go in there with a Phillips screwdriver and just start
one of the jobs I started, I got there and I said, "Where's your brass?" And they said, "Oh, we don't have any. We just wing it." And I was like, "No, I'm gonna need some brass." And as a gift, I was gifted a whole set of brass. I was actually very excited about it.
As you should be, because you were caring for their equipment more than
Yes.
they were.
And I was I am a decent molder, but
You're pretty solid.
we all get stuff stuck. Let's not pretend nobody got nothing stuck no
But
time.
isn't that the beauty of TPEs? There's forgiveness in there as
So
well.
much forgiveness.
So much.
And if you make bad parts and you put them to the side, that brings us
They
to the
become good
next
parts.
wonderful thing of TPEs, which is recyclability.
Right.
Sustainability
love.
is a big thing right now. I think we're seeing it more and more. It's being discussed here at NPE more and more. And that's another thing I'm really excited about with working with Hexpol. In Europe, they have been working on these new raw materials and new TPE products for quite some time. Some that will have recycled content, biomass. What else can we do to help our planet? But also, we need plastics. We all know this. And so how can we take care of them, take care of ourselves, take care of the world? And I think that's going to be the next biggest thing. I really do feel that it matters. I'm excited about it, but I also know that it can be a headache for a lot of people. When it's enforced and they say, hey, we have to start having this much sustainability or this
Right.
much recycled products,
Right.
we have to do this. That's when, again, here we come to save the day. because we'll then get these calls and they'll ask, I've got this terrible job. I've used this material for 20 years. It's always molded the best. I don't know what I'm going to do. Now I got to put recycled in it. I don't know what accent this is. But we'll come in and we have offerings for that. Whether it's in, hey, did you know you can regrind your TPE, your scrap parts, and remold that? Did you know you can probably do that up to 14 times before you'll see deterioration in your material?
14 times for some TPEs, right?
Yes.
Or
Not
because
all of
we
them.
love Taylor Swift 13 times.
Oh, that's
I
right.
think you should start pushing that. Taylor Swift approves 13 times. And technically you're not wrong.
It's a Taylor
Right.
Swift baker's dozen. So
Yes.
does that make sense? So it's like
Yeah.
one beyond 13.
Right. And if it's completely wrong, then I'll just, tell those that don't love Taylor Swift, how can you not love
How could you
Taylor
not?
Swift?
How could you not?
You shouldn't.
I don't-
You don't
right.
get.
Right.
They don't
Why
get
would you-
TPE.
Right.
You don't like Taylor Swift. You don't get TPE.
Right. And
That
I
feels fair.
think that's just what I'll say is
I think that legally should be held.
right. I do have to sidebar that, with Taylor Swift, as much as I love her, Pink is the best.
Pink, is
Pink rules the
amazing.
world. Alicia Beth Moore is her full name. I know she's watching.
Thanks
She's
for
incredible.
watching.
She's a
Friend
big
of the
fan of
pod.
Plastchicks.
She's a very close friend of mine.
Yep.
But yeah, her over T Swift any day.
And her stage name is a color, so
That's right.
I mean,
You do
can't
love
go
that.
wrong
You
there.
do love that.
And it's got that exclamation point right in the middle to where you can't hashtag her name properly. What's up with that, Alicia?
I
It's
mean,
okay.
I do love Pink. I do have to take Taylor Swift in this one, but I'd put Pink up there.
Yeah.
And obviously she's an amazing performer.
Right. And
Like-
she probably loves Taylor Swift too. That's what's so
And,
great
and
about
that
her.
is the beauty of her.
Absolutely.
Not,
Back to these
I was gonna say-
TPEs though.
Well, one of the things I'm wondering, with this move towards sustainability, are you going to start seeing, with overmolding, what people love about overmolding is that chemical bond. Are you going to start seeing people move away from that chemical bond and start having to design in a better, mechanical bond? How do you, are you guys already talking about that? Are you guys getting your playbook ready?
We've still been on the chemical bond, to be honest with
Okay.
you. Mechanical bond is great because really it opens up, you can use
Right.
different TPEs. And I think that's important. For some that still remain with the chemical bond where it's necessary, we are seeing slight changes right now that I'm not sure if they're being openly discussed. And when I say that, I may open myself up to correction here. But
Okay,
some
we
of
will edit you at a future date.
We're not
the
naming
live
names.
version.
We aren't naming names here.
Right. Well, and all I meant was, we've seen that some of the substrates that we work with, nylon, PC, PCABS, we've noticed that they have new things that may be added to them that are now reducing what used to be a perfect bond.
Right.
Not necessarily with star TPEs, but customers will call with problems.
Right.
We have a Star Bond line, which is our overmold products. And with those, we have made some great products. But that's the opportunity we're getting. It was a nylon substrate. Customer said he's used it for years. He's used the same TPE for years. And all of a sudden, they're not bonding anymore. So in studying, we can do that at our labs at Star. Is
Using FTIR or
Yes, correct. And different ARIIRs, TEPPs.
how many letters was
That's
that? What?
right. That's right.
Yes.
Top
Every
secret.
alphabet is
But
used.
yes, and that's exactly it. And from there, that's how we find out. What we've seen is no, there is a change in this. There's been an additive put in there that is actually inhibiting the bond. Now, I'm not sure if that falls into if it's preparing for recyclability, sustainability, or if it's
New regulations
cheap.
on the
Excitement.
horizons.
new regulations on the horizon. Sounds so much better than cheap. So yes, we're going to go with that. 'Cause
I also like that.
that works. But I think once we see that, and with mechanical bonds, if that's where we go to improve things, I'm all for it because it is easier on us.
That's fair. Because now you open it up, you don't just have to go with the bonding.
Right.
You can go what you like.
That's right. And we like to give the customer those options as
That
long
feels
as
fair.
it works. We've had some that have asked for just what we like to call unobtainium.
Oh yes, I remember you telling me about
Right?
this when I first met you.
It is the
Yeah.
perfect way to describe it. Unobtainium, it's wonderful. It's great to talk about. Wouldn't it be great if? But you're never going to get there. You're not going to get there with Star. You're not going to get there with anybody. But we can talk about it until
we feel better about our next option.
until we move on to what we can really do for you. Yeah. So, but it's exciting, and I will say if it can be done, we'll find a way to do it.
I love that.
Love that.
So I think we have time for one more
One
question.
more question?
Do it.
And this
Which
one,
one's it going to be?
well, it has to be.
Are you going to go off book? Go rogue?
I can't go out.
Okay,
I
all
can't
right.
go out.
No, I
What-
know which, yeah.
What's your weirdest,
Yes,
but
this is the one I
it
was hoping
must
for.
be family friendly
It must
TEP,
be.
TPE product. Well, family friendly-ish? Well, no. All right. Let's go. What's your most
Well,
family friendly and
let's
your
see.
non-family
I
friendly?
bet I can do this. Let's give this a shot. So, as you know, we've talked about dog toys, how much I enjoy them, which
Right.
then lead us into children's toys, even baby toys. You know, there's another world out there that is same but different, and those are adult toys.
See?
Same but different.
See, I know, yeah.
It's
Great,
same but
yeah.
different. On the level of safety, cleanliness of the material, what happens with the products, that's on the consumer. But those are probably, I want to say, the most fun, but for all the right reasons, because they're out there, they exist,
Right.
they're a market.
Somebody's gotta make 'em.
Someone's got to make them, you know, and most people have seen them, use them, whatever. That's it's fine, but they're interesting because
Yeah.
no matter what, you're going to see a finished product. You're going to see them being made, or you're going to see a mold for them.
Right.
And, you know, you can be on your best behavior and you can be ready, but as soon as you see a 6 foot whatever, you're going to, sure.
Love it. Love the design.
But it's a really interesting space.
It is.
I did a deep dive for for my actual job for a customer in that space, and it was fascinating. There's
It is.
so much innovation happening now.
There is.
And just really innovative stuff. And then other like byproducts from that. There was actually a shoe. I forget who did it, but it was a shoe made out of recycled adult toys.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I mean, that
Yeah.
feels like if you're gonna do it, that's the
So
only other place I would.
it's a great
accept
material, and
that.
hey, like
Absolutely.
you know, regrind like 14 times.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well,
This
and
is
I would
the Taylor
say
Swift Baker's dozen.
with these as well, what's so much fun about it, because you can create whatever you'd like. You see different shapes, sizes, parts that normally wouldn't be so close to each other, or even on the same mold, but now they are. And it's I think it's great. You know, I want people to be who they are and enjoy life, and why not? But they've been a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
I love it.
For everyone involved.
For everyone.
Everyone. Fun for the whole family.
Beginning of the supply chain on. All right.
Well, Leslie, Sonne, thank you so much for taking
Absolutely.
the time
Thank you.
out of your wild NPE schedule
That's right.
to come and join us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do you have a booth here, or
We do. Please come see us. Star Thermoplastics, a Hexpol company. We are in the South Hall at booth number S38017.
And I'm not even going to applaud you for that because I know that you remembered that the
So the
second you
recall.
heard it. So that is nothing new for you.
That's right. Follow us on LinkedIn. Find me. I'm here all day.
She will
folks.
solve all your problems.
all your problems.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.